Okay, and let's perfect. Welcome to another fabulous Friday night art class where we will be here painting this beautiful aerial beach scene, and we will be using our blue colors. I have a few different shades here, but you can use as many shades as you like or just one. And then we have really the whole rainbow. I have green, yellow, orange, red, black, and white. And then I added an additional purple color just because I wanted to add it on one of my umbrellas here. So that's totally up to you because your umbrellas can be any color that you like. So also, we will be using our three favorite brushes, our wide flat brush for the backgrounds, the medium round brush for blending, and mine's seen probably brighter days. And then we have our small detail brush. So let's get started with our wide flat brush. And we're actually going to start with our orange color. And we're going to start filling in kind of a watery orange layer from the bottom. And we want it to go like a diagonal, like so. So you can fill this entire bottom half with watery orange. So like this is perfect. Not too much, just enough. Lovely. And so once I have that, we're gonna go ahead and clean our brush and make sure you get all the orange out. So now that I have this orange here, because I'm working on an easel and I don't want it to drip, I'm gonna flip this over so we can finish this bottom half. See, the drip is starting to happen there. That's okay. So now that I've flipped this, I have my brush nice and clean. And I'm going to do the same thing on this half with the blue. Just do a nice watery layer with the blue. I'm going to use my lighter blue color here. And you can fill this up. It might mix with the orange a little. That's okay. Just try to keep your brush clean if you can. Lovely. So I can flip that back over so you can see part orange, part blue. And then we can go ahead and clean this brush and set it aside. So we have our orange half and our blue half, and we are ready to move to our medium round brush. And we're gonna start adding some embellishments to the colors here. Uh-oh. So first, I'm gonna work on the blue section. We'll let that kind of dry. Then we'll work on this lower sand section, let that dry. So then we can move on to the details because we're gonna have to go kind of back and forth when we do that too. So let's see okay, if you're using just one color of blue, we can start there. You want a majority of the darker color to be towards the corner, and you want it to get lighter coming towards the sand. So we're going to take our medium round brush, and I have some blue here, and I'm just going to slowly layer in just some wiggly lines wherever I can. And what's going to happen is these colors are going to slowly blend together in a really non-uniform, well, I guess organic way, just the way the ocean would look if you were flying over it. So that's one color of blue. Let's see if I can add a little more throughout here, and you're gonna see how it comes together. And just slowly taking my time, really pressing the color in to the canvas. with the brush. So that's kind of the idea. Gives it more of that ocean look. So I could go all the way throughout with just this color, and you're gonna see different variations where it gets lighter and darker throughout the section. But to keep it interesting, let's throw in some of the let's not do the darker blue. Let's do some of this teal blue. So we'll put some teal in the front like I did before so you guys can see what that looks like if you're wanting to mix it up. Try not to get too close to your orange, but you can just kind of start pressing in the other shade. And it's going to slowly blend. Not the same way we do with water. It looks a little different, but it's really nice. Let's see if we could do, let's do more. Get a little bit of water on my brush because it's getting dry. But you don't want to use too much water at this stage. Let's see if we can mix some in. Very nice. I don't know. It looks like the aqua lines. I don't know what you call those, but that's the best way to describe what we're kind of doing here. When the light hits the water and you can see it. So this part might take you a while to get it how you like. And get it all filled in. But let's do a close up real quick so you can see. It really does have an ocean look to it. Pearlized, marbleized, maybe. You have to really zero in on it to notice, I guess. But let's see if we can now add I'm going to add also the darker blue so you guys can see that. But you can see how you can play with this and you don't have to use multiple blues. You can use 2, 3, or more. Totally just depends. Oop. Hmm, very nice. It's subtle and nice. Hmm. Yeah, almost like the waves are coming in. You could see it better on this angle, really, how the waves look. It's really nice. So that's our first part. And then once you have that, go ahead and clean this brush and get all the water out. All the color, all the water. I do love the colors so far. So our ocean is ready to kind of hang out and wait for us to do the details on her. But while we let that kind of hang out and dry for a second, let's get our sand situated. And let's see what we're gonna do first here. Hmm. Yes. We will add now. I've cleaned my medium round brush and I got all the water out. And so now we're going to add some of our yellow. And when we add our yellow to this orange, I'm really just going to kind of spot it in. It can be totally random. You don't want to cover the whole thing, but just kind of blending it in wherever you want, just to create some variation. Like that's good enough. Nothing too wild. Mm. Wonderful. Just mixing it up a bit with the yellow. But what we'll do from here is I don't even have to like clean the yellow off of here. I might get a little bit of water on my brush just to help, but I'm going to start with white and I'm going to start blending white from the bottom here. And we're going to cover this entire area up into the edge with white. And you're going to see how it begins to look like sand or a sandy color. So there it is. The sand's coming. The yellow helps kind of keep it less peach colored with the orange and white, so it's nice. But the water will also help you to kind of keep everything moving. And it's nicer to use a smaller brush because you're going to see all these different variations with it, as opposed to doing the bigger brush where the strokes are larger and it looks more uniform. That's not the case here, but that's what we want. That's what makes it look more realistic. So already looking like the beach here. Just kind of tapping it in gently too at first before I really press it in, just to kind of make sure it's not going to overwhelm what I already have going on here. You don't want it to be too white. And then we'll just keep kind of blending that. And almost blend it until it begins to dry if you want. It should work that way. Yes. I love it. This looks good. That that's pretty much our background. The only last thing I would say we should do with the medium round brush is just giving ourselves a foundational white blended line between the blue and the ocean and the sand. So just using white and a little bit of water, I just am gonna make a nice little wiggle here between the two. And it's gonna blend in on its own, but as long as you have some room for it to give the illusion of the foam, the sea foam that happens, that's what we want. Yeah, just softer. So we'll blend that. Yeah, that's good enough. So that's my dividing line.
I have a question.
Oh, yes.
For the sand on the beach, um,
Hmm.
so I'm doing it's more blotchy of the colors than anything versus a solid strip of
Exactly.
oh,
Yeah, because when you do it that way, it's gonna give the illusion of all those little dips and divots
gotcha.
in the
Okay.
sand. Yeah, that you would see from far away. At
Okay.
least that was the idea.
Mhm. Okay. I'm working on that. So I'm gonna make this happen. So thank you.
Perfect. Okay, let me know if you have more questions. Yeah, a little blotchiness. It's the illusion of the shadows and dips in the sand. Could be. It's pretty close. So we have. Let me at least explain how the details are going to go so you guys are prepared because there's going to be a few steps, but everything else we're going to be doing with our detail brush from here. And so what we'll do is we'll start just making our little white ocean lines for the waves. So that should be pretty simple. But once we get that, the ocean's pretty much done and finalized, or it is done and finalized. Then we will move on to our people and our shadows and our umbrellas, which will work in kind of layers. So I'll show you guys how it will go. But for now, I can add some waves to my ocean. So just using the detail brush now, I'm going to take my white paint and I can, well, you could do a couple of things. You can kind of dot them in like, um, so you can tell that it's, the foam of the waves, or you can do just a nice brush of it. Totally depends on your style and kind of how you want it to look. Just adding some in here, nothing major, just a few. And we're definitely going to put some dotted ones towards the edge to really sell those waves. So maybe if you do the smoother waves there towards the back. Nice. I like it. Hmm. It's good enough for me, I think. I mean, you could do this part forever, but I'll stop there. Lovely. So that is my ocean finalized. I think it's looking pretty nice. Ah, and once you've gotten your waves all set how you like, go ahead and clean your brush and get all of the water out for the next part. Let me add a few more. You really could work on this part all day. All right, that's good enough for me. So I'm gonna clean my brush. We'll get all the water out. And then we will do some details in black really quickly. This is the fun part. So now that we have the ocean, we've cleaned our detail brush, we got all the water out. For the next part, we're gonna lay down a black foundation for where our umbrellas are gonna be. And we wanna use the lightest possible, like least possible pressure and least possible amount of black paint. We just want it to be kind of a guide as to where we're going to put the umbrella. And it's gonna allow the umbrella to really look like it's pop, like it will pop, and then like it's floating over the sand rather than part of the sand. That's what I mean to say. And then we'll also do our little people, which are literally just dots, just a few dots. If you want, you don't have to do the people. So we will start with black here. I have my detail brush and we're gonna do these umbrellas. I'm just starting with a small dot and just kind of slowly expanding on it to create these circles. They don't have to be like perfectly round, but just kind of slowly making it larger until I get it to my desired size here. Very, very light amount of paint. No water dripping or anything. We're just very, very light paint, light pressure, like so. So that can be my first one. So you could do about 5, or you could do as many umbrellas as you like. Let's say that. That's nicer. Lovely. So that's my first one. Let's do a couple more. I did the wrong way after I gave my own instruction and I didn't follow. All right. Few more. Let's see. Oh boy. Let's see. Okay. Maybe I can fix it. I didn't want it to be that close. Well, maybe. Like, even that's enough. How light that one is. All right. So that's like our foundation of these umbrellas. So we can let those sit for a sec. And so while those sit, I'm going to make some little blob dots for my people and put a few people around. And so I can use a little bit more paint with that. We'll just dabble it here. And boom, we have a person. And we can dabble some more all around. Lovely. And those are our people. Now we just got to add our embellishments, and it's going to look so realistic in a second. You're not going to believe this. So once you have that, let's go ahead and clean all this black off and get all of the water out. So I think it's looking pretty nice so far. Let's see if we can bring this puppy home, shall we? So, two things. First, we're gonna cover. It's important that these that we just did, these little black foundation circles for our umbrellas, mine are dry. So make sure that yours are dry too. And what you want to do is just cover them with a nice layer of white. And this part you want to really be like a good, nice circle. And we're going to fill that all the way in. And we're going to do that for everything. Doing my best to make it as round as possible, but it's okay if it's not perfect. Okay, so that's the first step. We got to let this part dry so we can do the second step. So while we let this dry, I have something else for you guys to do. parentheses method for making the circle seems to be working here for me. Just FYI. All right, so that's our first layer. The second layer will be when we put in our colors, whatever colors you want. So let's let that white sit and we'll do our shadows and little footprints because that's very easy. So go ahead and clean this white off and then we can leave a little water on the brush because we're going to need it for the next part. Yeah, this will be nice. So, our next part, what I would like you guys to do is select which color you'd like to use for your shadow. Because here I actually used my darker blue, which I really liked. I think I'm going to do it again. But what also work is purple, red. You can use the green. I wouldn't use the black, but you could if you want to. It just makes things complicated. But the darker blue is a really nice option that I'm going to use. So I want to have a good, not a dripping amount of water on my brush, but a little bit. And I'm going to tap into this blue and just kind of scribble here on the side, just to kind of get whatever water's mixed in with the brush and the paint, whatever water is there. And once I have it looking pretty good and saturated here, I'm just going to give ourselves a little strike behind each of our little people dots. Should be nice and watery, or you should like see the sand through it. But what you need to do is have them all going the same direction. So we're assuming the sun is coming from here over towards the beach. So that means the shadow's gonna come down towards the bottom left corner of our painting. Same thing with our umbrellas. You'll see me just kind of stretch this blue and I can just kind of strike it from behind there and get the round shape. We can blend it there with our fingers if we need to. But you can see how that looks like a shadow now. It's very cool. Very cool effect. Those umbrellas are popping. So you're going to do that for all of your people really quickly and all of your umbrellas. Okay, so the last thing that we'll do with this watery blue is you just want to make sure you put your little footprints. So you're just gonna put two little rows of dots leading all the people to the beach. Let's see if I can go close up really quickly so you can see my little dots. Hopefully you could see them. They're very light. They're little sandy footprints. All right, and then that's it. You guys can add your colors to your umbrellas and go wild. I think that I'm gonna do all of my umbrellas the same color this one or this round. Maybe I will make them all gosh, what color? Maybe I make them all blue. Hmm, maybe lighter blue. So what you want to do here is just put the stripes around like a little triangle shape towards the middle. And you can pick whatever colors you like. Yeah, maybe I'll do this color on all of mine. I'm loving it. I think it's turning out great. I think it's great. Definitely a few steps for this one, but turns out looking pretty good if you ask me. Let's see if maybe I can add a little more white to really make them stand out. And then I think that's all I'm gonna do here. Oh, yeah, it's the little things. So a little extra layer of white might help you guys too, because that looks a lot better. I love it. Wow. Looks like real people hanging out there. Very cool. Like a beach resort. We love it. I can't wait to see everyone's creations. And if you are watching on YouTube, thank you for joining us today. And if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, follow, or share with a friend. Thank you. See you next time.